Hey, I didn't see you there. Today we are here in Richmond, Virginia at the P.O.W.E.R conference. Stay tuned for media coverage along the way on this new episode of Darrell's Corner. Bye. And we are here with Mr. Tennie, the CEO of the Tennie Group, LLC.
Hey, great opportunity. Richmond, Virginia, for the Richmond International Airport conference here. Loving it, meeting a lot of great people here, looking for opportunities here to work with a lot of vendors who are looking to work with the airport authority. So we're ready for this new market.
Are we excited to be here, Mr. Tennie?
Oh, absolutely.
Wave to the camera. All right, and we are here today with Curtis Hill, CEO and founder of Culture of Belonging Global. How are you today?
I'm amazing, and you?
I'm doing well. And we saw your presentation. You're very enthusiastic and very passionate about the work you do. So what drives you and motivates you to be so enthusiastic and passionate about the work you do?
I think the thing that drives me and makes me motivated and passionate is the belief that everyone can change, regardless of who they are, where they come from, the opportunities that they had. I believe that everyone can change. That's what drives me.
CEO and founder of a business, a successful business. How do you manage challenges within your company, and how do you move forward with adversity possibly in your company?
Here's the thing that we know. Challenges will come. Challenges are like change. You can't live with it and you can't live without it, right? So challenges will come. The difference between being successful and not being successful is knowing that challenges are going to come. And after you know they're going to come, what do you do? Because successful people never stop when they're going through. Because we know if we keep going through, this too shall pass. Where is it? Behind us. So knowing that the challenges will come, expecting them, but then having a plan. So I have a plan A, I have a plan B, and I have a plan for if everything else fails. So I'm a hustler, baby. That's how I handle challenges.
Okay. All right, and thank you. This is again Curtis Hill. If you would like to say anything or to the camera, any last words, just really quickly.
I think that belonging is the secret weapon to transformation, innovation, and productivity. If you create spaces where everyone knows that they belong, you're doing yourself a favor.
Yes. Okay. Yay. Mr. Tennie is now presenting, so let's go ahead and see what he's doing. Okay, let's go. Look who we're here with today. If you would like to introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, my name's George Piazza. I'm the Senior Asset Manager for LISC. I work on our Innovative Investments team.
And George Piazza, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. And our question that we have here today is, what do most business owners / entrepreneurs have any problems or any hurdles with in terms of pertaining to owning capital or access to capital?
Yeah, I'd say the two biggest things that I can share is the first thing is not realizing that the whole loan process is an interview. So the second you show up to someone asking for money, that's the first time that we're starting to assess, is this person reliable? Will they pay us back? I think the second thing connected with that is the number one goal of a lender is how do we get repaid back? So that's the number one question that we're asking throughout the whole process. If a business owner can understand and help make the argument to us how they are going to start paying us back, if they can come forward with a proactive vision for that, that makes our job easier. And I think the last point to that is, as someone who deals with small businesses, we handle loan requests. We're not the people that make the decision. We go to a loan committee, we present the loan case to the committee, they're the ones that decide. So it's really helping your loan officer, the person you're working with, be the best champion for your business. So helping them understand your business as well as you can will help it and make it easier for us to present your loan request to our committees.
Question, George. What is one thing you wish more business leaders understood?
I wish more business leaders understood how much effort their small businesses that they do contracting with put into their business. One of the big things we hear a lot is small businesses do so much investment in preparation to become a prime vendor for a company or even to get direct partnership with. And so when they do all this work and on the back end, when they feel like the work that they were promised isn't delivered on, this is a lot of investment and time that businesses put in. So it's really being transparent with anyone that you're doing B2B work with on the front end. What's the realistic expectation of the work volume they can expect? Are you bringing in 30 vendors to do the job that 2 vendors can do? Or can you maybe be more strategic in who you work with? This way the businesses you bring in have a good relationship with you throughout the whole process.
Nice. And speaking of things of competition, comparing in the business world and entrepreneurship, what do you define a true business owner as?
Oof, a true business owner is someone who wears every hat. I think this is something, especially when you think about small scale businesses, just getting started, getting off the ground. I think the famous thing we hear about is you're the janitor, you're the bookkeeper, you're the one engaging businesses for contracts, so you're the marketer. Really understanding that as a small business owner, you really have to have a solid understanding of every aspect of your business until you're able to scale, because it'll help you scale correctly. But then once you can start bringing people on, then you can maybe step back a little bit. But early on, you are the everything at the small business.
Well, thank you so much, George.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, and we are here with, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
I am Kevin J. Price, President and CEO of the National Institute of Minority Economic Development, based in Durham, North Carolina.
And Kevin, how are you doing today?
Any better? I couldn't stand it.
All right. And our question for you today is, what do small business owners and entrepreneurs make mistakes with in terms of their capital and accessing capital?
Well, one of the things I see small businesses make, and particularly women-owned companies, is that they will start with this overly independent feeling that I don't need any help, I can do this. And one of the common mistakes they'll make, Callie, is they'll use their savings, their 401k or 403b retirement plan. They'll then go into their credit cards to finance their business, right? And then they come to me, or they go to a bank and need financing. But at that point, you have limited leverage. And so what I always suggest to companies is when you start your business and you have all of those things, that's when you go to the bank and you talk with them about, this is my balance sheet. These are all the resources I have. How can I leverage these to start my business? So kind of like what Darrell was talking about earlier of how to use and leverage the business and loan money to the business. It's better to do it that way when you have something than now I need to borrow money from the bank, but the bank is going to say, what's your collateral? And you don't have anything to collateralize.
That was great. As someone who supports small businesses and entrepreneurs like yourself, what would you advise to those people today?
Well, I first start with Understand what kind of business you want and what your differentiator is as a business. You're gonna. There are very few things you can sell or produce that somebody isn't already selling or producing. So why you? So that's the big question. Why you? Why are they going to move from where they're buying it currently to you? That's your differentiator. That's what makes you special, what makes you different and unique. And that could be pricing, that could be a culture, that could be people relate to you because you come from the same background. That could be any number of things, but that's what you got to convey overall is what your differentiator is. And the other thing I would say is, in addition to knowing what your differentiator is, it's important that you have a capability statement. That's kind of like the company's resume. So you have your personal resume, and then you got another one for the company. So when I'm evaluating why I should do business as a lender with the company, you can whip that out. Or if you're trying to get business from a company, a corporation, you can whip that out and say, this is why you should do business with me. This is the experience of the business. This is my experience, but this is the experience of the business. Other clients that we're doing business with, they're not your clients, they're the company's clients, right? So you got these two hats you got to wear, me and the company, and separate those. Sole proprietors have a difficult time doing that. It's one, and that's a challenge. So you got to be able to think kind of with two minds that this is me and this is the business.
So, Kevin, why are you here, and why is the Institute Capital here today?
So the Institute is here because a lot of people don't know this. We're in 7 states, including Virginia. And so when we look at the state of Virginia and the growth, amazing growth that's happening here, just like in North Carolina, we need to be where the small businesses are that need help, that need us. And so we chose Richmond as a place for us to set some roots, as well as Hampton Roads. And so our lender, Leslie, she lives in Hampton Roads, but she covers all of Virginia. We're in Richmond because we are working on a partnership with the airport. And one of the things I'm noticing is airports want small businesses to be in their airport, but they don't necessarily, one of the barriers to those small businesses is how they finance the business to get in the airport. You know, building out the space you're in,
The outreach.
having a place to be in that airport to actually conduct business. It costs money to get in the airport. So if you don't have the right financial structure, it's going to be very difficult. That becomes a barrier. And so we want to remove that barrier through our CDFI ICAP. That's why it's here, is to connect with these small businesses and say we can be your lending partner to help you get in the airport and expand.
Expansion and breaking barriers. You heard it today.
Scaling.
Yes, yes. And since you mentioned, hats, we're seeing a lot of that jargon being used around lately, and we want to dive deeper into that. So as business owners, they're multidimensional. They do many things and they wear many hats. And would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that statement, that you're the jack of all trades. And, that there's this term that people say that you become this expert in nothing because you're doing everything, and it's hard to drill down. Well, for a very small business owner, particularly sole proprietors, you end up doing everything. And sometimes that can slow you down in the process.
So how do you navigate that slowdown?
Well, you got to partner, you got to collaborate with others. And so the importance of conferences like P.O.W.E.R and some of the Power Forum and some of the things we do in North Carolina is bringing people together. So you can look around the room and see if there are other companies there that you could partner with and collaborate with. You don't need to do marketing if that's not what the business is. Hire someone to do that part for you and make you look good because that's their expertise. And then you can do what we used to do back in the day, and that is bartering to the 10th power. We knew how to barter and recycle before it was a thing. Our grandparents, great-grandparents did. So we got to borrow some of those old skills that we already know. They're already there.
Well said, well said. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yay! And today we are here with, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Krystal Brumfield, the managing member of the Brumfield Consulting Group.
And Krystal, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Having a great day at the event and enjoying myself meeting new people.
And Krystal, based on your past presentation that you spoke eloquently on, we'd like to ask you more about the advice that you want to give to people about seeking mentorship outside of their network and kind of asking for help. So how would you tell people to ask for help?
So I'd say just be open to exploring opportunities and meeting new people and really taking the relationship wherever it goes. I'm always a fan of organic relationships and meeting people the very natural way, getting to know them as individuals, not as a business opportunity necessarily. And so as I spoke about earlier, my example of meeting my mentor, Mr. Perlman, was really just kind of being put on the spot. Of him asking me questions I didn't really know the answers to, but I took it a step further to really seek his help in understanding the space and getting into the answers to the questions that I didn't know how to answer at the moment.
So I heard words you said, seeking, openness, organic, and natural. How would you, per se, reflect that onto other people? In your life, in business owners' life, how would you say or give advice to that to other people and how to be more open and how to seek, more advice from other people?
Mm-hmm. I would say just be who you are and sell yourself. You know yourself better than anyone else. So know the value that you bring and understand how to communicate your value proposition. I think people oftentimes may think that they need to do something different and not bring their full selves to work or to the opportunity. But I think that's the value that we have as individuals. It brings about a diverse thought, a diverse background, and that is what makes things so special. That's what makes business special. That's what makes companies special, is that you can bring individuals together who have nothing whatsoever in common and bring that thought, that uniqueness to the work and to the project and make it what it is yourself.
Okay, well said. And what is one thing outside of physical communication that you would say a business owner would do to sort of bridge that gap of communication between one another? Just name one thing.
One thing outside of communication.
It's kind of a hard one.
I think follow-up is important. I think being clear and consistent in communication is also important. Again, just making sure that you know what your values are. You're able to articulate that clearly and consistently, and not just say it, but also do it.
Action over words. Would you agree?
Absolutely, all the time.
All right. Who are we with here today?
Jason Richardson, Richardson Insurance.
All right. And how are you doing today, Jason?
It's been a great day. I've had a great time.
And based on your presentation and the panel discussion that you had, we really appreciate the words that you shared. And I know that you mentioned the word about common ground and finding common ground within firms. So give us some advice to that on how do business owners, specifically working in that construction industry, find that common ground?
Well, I focus a lot more on the insurance aspect of things.
Okay.
And what I've witnessed and what I've been experiencing here over the last couple of years is contractors coming together to pool their resources, which has been huge. There are a lot of smaller contractors who sometimes feel inferior and they don't seek these larger contracts because they don't feel like they're as large. Well, there's safety in numbers. If they combine resources and they have similar goals, maybe do different trades, then they become a powerhouse and they're able to get those contracts, solidify them, and then move on to the next project.
Nice. And within projects, project managers, or just even construction consultants, if you will, what is something that is, I would say, an underrated fact that most people don't know about insurance when it comes to the construction industry?
Well, the insurance industry is a large part of the construction industry. There are contractors who have payments that are held up if they don't have the proper insurance, which is pretty impressive if you ask me, just because there's so many people relying on that little piece of paper that shows the insurance that you have to fulfill that job. And if you don't have it, you don't get paid. Everything is prolonged. It becomes a nightmare for the contractor. So like we know that, we understand the process, and we take care of that as best as we can. We jump on those requests as soon as we receive them, so that way if there is an issue with coverage, they're always resolved in a timely fashion, so that way it doesn't hinder any production of the job.
So in terms of production, in terms of coverage, and all of the logistic things behind it, what is one key takeaway that someone in your audience base could take away from this video listening to you? What is an unknown fact, if you will, that most people don't really like to talk about within the construction industry because they like to get things done, they like things to be fast? What is something that's going to make them sit back and think, okay, this is something that I need to take and apply to my next project?
A large part of these projects are bonding, and a lot of contractors shy away from bonding, but bonding is here to stay, and it's not going anywhere. And in fact, more and more trades are being required to carry bonds. So I always advise my clients and individuals that I speak with, go ahead and start the bonding process now. See what you qualify for. If it's not where you are, at least you know where you are today, and you can work towards getting to that level of the jobs you plan to bid on. That's another thing too. If you know your bonding capacity early, you know what jobs and how many jobs you can bid on in the future without having to think about it.
No. That is what I took away from this conversation. So thank you so much, Jason, for having us.
Thank you for the time.
Wow. And that was a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for the next episode of Darrell's Corner. Bye.